Is it finally Denny Hamlin's year? Let's chat about it. Hey everyone, it's Taylor Kitchen and welcome to Above the Yellow Line, where we do motorsports media your way, talking about NASCAR literally all the time. Before we get into the Clash review, make sure to share this video and like it. But without further ado, let's talk about the unprecedented decision by NASCAR to move this event up an entire day. A very odd way to start the NASCAR season. Clearly, Mother Nature is picking up right where she left off. She was not our friend in 2023, clearly not wanting to be our friend in 2024, but fingers crossed, things work out going forward. But very weird way to start the season with NASCAR calling the Clash to be held the day before it was actually supposed to happen. But if you looked at the radar, you saw that it was supposed to rain straight from Sunday to Wednesday, severe weather in the area, people told to maybe stay inside, weather warning. So ultimately, this was the right decision by NASCAR, even considering the logistics of, hey, if we move the race to later in the week, we are pushing against the time that these teams have to prepare for Daytona. So with that in mind, and the safety of the fans and people in the surrounding area in mind, this call absolutely made sense. I understand the argument of saying NASCAR knew the weather situation going into this weekend. Why didn't we make this call sooner? I get it and I understand that, but I think the decision made regardless of timing was the proper one. This was also another win for the case scenario of fans peer pressuring NASCAR to open the track to fans on Saturday. Originally, that wasn't the case. Then NASCAR was like, all right, we heard you, we're gonna do it. Unfortunate to see though that not a whole lot of people showed up for practice and qualifying for that day, but as the night went on, some of you all sent me in photos. We saw that the fans showed up. The stands filled up, typical to the audience that we would see for a rain delay type of race. So overall, very positive. The cons to this call is that we didn't get that performance from Machine Gun Kelly, that maybe that's a positive to you all as opposed to a negative. We also didn't get to see Lightning McQueen. Apparently, he was going to make an appearance, and that makes me very sad. So we didn't get to see that. The biggest thing, though, that we missed out on was that EV demonstration that NASCAR was going to have for their new EV car. Hopefully that does get rescheduled because I'm very curious to see how that performs. The other thing that was canceled just to accommodate for timing was that last chance qualifying event and the heats, which are my favorite part of the Clash weekend, so I was pretty bummed. That means that qualifying was based off of whoever was fastest in the final practice session, and there were some pretty big names that missed out on the main event. For me, mainly Christopher Bell. The Joe Gibbs cars were so fast that entire day, and because he was qualifying or practicing within that last group, track conditions just weren't ideal for them, and he missed out on the main event, did not have the speed necessarily like his teammates did. Austin Cindric was another notable name that missed out on the main event. Had a pretty rough year in 2023. He needs 2024 to be a killer year for him, or else I fear he's in jeopardy of his seat. Take that as you will. Not surprising that Chris Buescher missed out on the main event again. Still disappointing though. And Daniel Suarez, I thought it would be a really big deal, a positive for him to make the main event at the Clash. Unfortunately, that did not happen, but fortunately though, he did win the NASCAR Mexico Series race, so negative then a positive to end the night. Pretty good for Suarez. When it's all said and done though, Denny Hamlin got the pole for this race and ended up winning it at the end of the day. Denny Hamlin last year in the playoffs, he said, this is my year, basically count on it, it's gonna happen. Obviously did not happen. Ryan Blaney won the championship. But starting off the season with this positive momentum for that 11 team, could that mean that this is his year? Joey Logano did it. He won the first race of the season, he won the Clash, and he went on to win the championship in 2022. Could Denny Hamlin do the same? I also thought this was a cool fact from Dom Joseph. He said Denny Hamlin is the only driver to win the Budweiser Shootout 2006, the Sprint Unlimited 2014, 2016, and the Busch Light Clash 2024. Denny Hamlin is a Hall of Fame driver, regardless of a championship or not, but a championship would be so sweet. I would love that. So I think having the star power that he does right now, especially after being the star of NASCAR's docuseries on Netflix, Full Speed, all the momentum going his way, I still think it's crazy to say at his age where he is in his career, I think he still is in his prime. I'm going to say it. So I think if it's going to happen any year, it's going to be this year that Denny Hamlin wins the championship. So who knows, but a good way to start the season for that 11 team. Other key finishing positions for this race, Kyle Busch falls short yet again for the Clash at the Coliseum. He is the only driver to podium for all three events that we've been to at this track, so that's a pretty good record for him. Ryan Blaney, what's crazy about Ryan Blaney's race is he qualified into this on a provisional. He was the 23rd car in based off of his point standings in 2023 because he wasn't fast enough in qualifying. So he went from the back of the pack all the way to finish third. That is championship behavior right there. So that's something I love to see. Brad Keselowski finally made the main event and he finished inside the top 10. And drivers I'm honestly shocked made the main event was Justin Haley. Haley for Rick Ware Racing, and Noah Gragson in the number 10 at Stewart-Haas. Unfortunately though, Justin Haley was taken out of the main event due to engine issues, and Noah Gragson just started going laps down. Chase Elliott also made the main event, but had steering issues and was not able to finish. One of the big stories here though is short tracks equals short track tempers. It doesn't matter where in the season this is, especially to start the season. I think having these types of tempers, angers, whatever, towards other drivers is so bizarre, especially knowing that this is a non-points paying race. Regardless, NASCAR captured this moment between Ty Gibbs and Joey Logano following the race. Both drivers had a legit chance to win the Clash at the Coliseum, but of course, just chaotic restarts just didn't play into their favor, and this all really did start with around 10 laps to go on one of those restarts. Ty Gibbs just kind of ended up moving Joey Logano up the track. Joey didn't like it, thought it was over-aggressive, resulting in this fight, and much more probably went into this fight as well. But you can't really understand what they're telling each other. You can pick out words and phrases here or there, but they're not the only ones during this event to have a confrontation. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., during that intermission, got out of his car. You're not supposed to do that. Went up to John Hunter Nemechek, pulled down the window net, and just got in his face and started talking to him, yelling at him, whatever you want to say. I'm not really sure at this time what that was about, but it's a very bizarre moment of seeing these veteran drivers and Joey Logano and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. really going up to these young guns who are maybe in their second full-time NASCAR Cup Series season and their third, first, whatever it may be, and saying, hey, dude, watch it, and just kind of, race better. So with me, this was a thought process of the veterans kind of telling these young guns to kind of, I don't want to say know your place, but like, hey, chill. So I'm curious to see if any of those aggressions move forward, especially knowing Ty Gibbs' history, kind of getting into some unpleasant interactions with other drivers. We'll kind of keep tabs on that. So yeah, we gotta love that short track drama, but when it's all said and done, if this is the last race that we have at the Coliseum, I think it was the best one yet. Even considering that we lost out on that last chance qualifying race, on the heats, I thought that this was the cleanest race that we have had at the Coliseum, which is a major positive. We were actually able to see cars from the very back of the pack, take Martin Truex Jr., for example, Ryan Blaney, actually make their way into the top 10 and compete potentially for a win, which I think is positive. However, I do think that this event would benefited from having a smaller car count. I know a lot of you are either going to agree with me or heavily disagree, but I think if we just kept this event to maybe 20 cars, that would have been a perfect number, maybe even less. But then again, you're toying with the idea of, okay, we're going to bring all of our teams out to the Clash at the Coliseum. Only half or less of them are going to make the main event, and we're going to send the other half right home. That just logistically and monetarily does not make sense. It feels like an absolute waste. So the next time we do the Clash, I'm hoping that we do it at a track that can hold more cars, but still kind of fits the vibe of, hey, we're going to bring NASCAR to a different location. If it still is the Clash at the Coliseum next year, fine, sure, great. I think it's overstayed its welcome at this point, but maybe lower the car count or change who's going to be in that event. But if we change it too much, then it's going to be like the All-Star race. So we got to figure out our priorities here. Do we want to have 2 All-Star races a season? Do we just want to keep it to 1 race? I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out of thin air at this point. Also, complete side note, but Kevin Harvick, this was his first broadcast as a full-time analyst for Fox, and I think he did a fantastic job. As the season goes on, I think the broadcasts are going to get a lot more smooth between him, Clint Boyer, and Mike Joy. They're going to kind of figure out when to riff off of each other, when to talk, when not to, etc. But I think overall, it was a great first full broadcast for him, considering he has had experience broadcasting, Xfinity races, etc. So I think he did a great job. And I'm excited to see how he continues to elevate the booth going forward. I felt like his presence kept things on track for the most part, so I thought that was really good. But getting back on track though, rating the main event, I'm going to give it a 55%. I know that feels kind of low for the mostly positives that I've said, but I didn't feel strongly negative or positive about this race. I just thought for the event that we had, the last minute changes that we had to make, it went off pretty smoothly, and that's all you can really ask for, especially for an event that we think might be moving to a different track in the 2025 season. So what did you think of the Clash at the LA Memorial Coliseum? Let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know what rules you would change for the Clash. If you think it should go to a different track, what would that be? I'm genuinely curious to know your comments, and we'll talk about it, I am sure, on the live stream this Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For more from us, make sure to check us out on social media for NASCAR news, exclusive stories, creative content, and more. And make sure to take a look at our websites, TobyChristieCom and AboveTheYellowLine.com. We hope to see you next time right here on Above the Yellow Line. Thank you all so much for your support, and until next time, I'll see ya. Bye.